It's crazy how we're all on the same page about this. I mean, this Thomas going to talk to her was Mr. Smith going to Washington. It was Mr. Jacobs going to Katie Thurston.
Ernest going to Spain.
Only his impassioned speech fell on deaf, idiotic ears.
Right.
And only to be railroaded. I don't know what that movie Mr. Smith is about, but it's like if it ended badly because he went home.
Katie says it's hard because he's perfect. Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Pat, producer podcast over there behind my glasses.
Hello.
Why'd you say it like that?
That's how my baby Elliot says it.
She talking?
Hello. It's very cute.
Speaking of our children, a lot of you may be wondering where Chewy is tonight. He was just groomed yesterday, and he's not feeling camera ready. He thinks he needs to grow into it. I think he looks wonderful.
Do you have to, what's the term, express his anal glands? Because he's a little dog?
You should do it once a year.
Are you familiar with that?
Nick has no clue.
Upkeep regimen?
You
don't express his
he goes
anal
to
glands?
He goes to the vet once a year. I assume
they would
do that.
You got to get a good vet. There are a lot of bad vets out there, but
any Rex in LA, where do we live? LA, Silver Lake would love one. Do you know one?
Yeah, West Hollywood is a really good one. So sorry to everybody listening. But before we get into the show, that is week 4 of Katie's La Ventura, we got to get to some public service announcements.
We got to do some housekeeping.
Public service announcement 1. Guys, thank you so much for going over to Sheesh and Other Bachelor Podcasts reviews and slaughtering them with kind stars and stern words. We cannot thank you enough for your undying loyalty, but it is a little terrifying. So we would like to ask you guys to please cease.
Yeah,
okay?
cease and desist.
We're calling a truce.
They're nice guys, actually. They just didn't do their due diligence to understand they were copying a very popular Bachelor podcast.
I don't necessarily think they are nice guys. I think they're IP thieves. Kind of the dregs of society, but still, we don't want to punch down. Right. So,
that would make us bullies.
One more public service announcement, and while we need you guys to go to patreon.com/another podcast network for extra Claire content, Juan Pablo content, we're covering the Real Housewives of New York, a spicy show over there, as well as video content. There's tons of stuff over there, but we also need you guys to jump in the iTunes. You've been walking around for 5 minutes, I feel like. What's going on?
I'm sorry. I was trying to find my shirt. I'm very hot. I don't want to wear this polo anymore.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. So we need you guys to go in the reviews and combat some of the negative reviews that we've been getting of late. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to read one real quick.
Sure.
It's from M Million. It's called the title is "This Podcast is Awful." Disagree. I think it's actually quite funny. It's 1 star. The hosts don't know any of the contestants' names. And they are constantly wrong about topical Bachelor Nation news. It's really clear they don't do any research before commenting on topical and current topics related to the Bachelor franchise.
She's not wrong.
She is 1,000% right. And you know why? What rational person would ever research
You just watch the show and talk about it.
Oh my goodness gracious.
As you guys know, I'm in a lot of Bachelor, Bachelorette Facebook groups.
Yeah, Nick knows too much.
And I see discussions all the time about like what they do and don't like about their Bachelor podcast. And sometimes they do say like, I feel like I know more than the host. That's not why I'm listening. That shouldn't be why you listen to us.
You definitely know more than us.
We are 3 men who have been gifted by God to be hilarious, but we had no social following. So we had to pick a niche, and we chose The Bachelor. Now we're here.
You're like the L. Ron Hubbard of comedy podcasts.
Hey, I wish we could send this reviewer.
Yeah.
A little
we have to
article
get into the show soon.
that came out a month ago that rated us #1 Bachelor podcast.
Yeah, Screen
Take
Rant, thank
that.
you very, very much. So, guys, let's get into general thoughts. For those uninitiated, we're going to war with China, but also this is the part of the show where we give our thoughts on the show in kind of a general manner. Pat, you want to go first?
I would like to go first, but I will defer my overall thoughts of the episode to give a little insight of how much of a detailed motherfucker I am in a masterclass of podcasting. Okay. So the episode was fine. It was a little too Thomas heavy. I'll have a lot of thoughts on that. Overall, what are we rating this on? Roses or floors or pots? 52 pots. What I'd like to discuss, rather, is how I feel about Katie. She's very attractive. I think she's cool. I think she's easy to manipulate.
Attractive and cool, huh?
Oh, very cool. But I've been driving around this city in Hollywood, and there's billboards of her. She's got that promo shot of her with the heels on a chair or a couch.
Sure, yeah.
The woman has very, very dry feet.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that
I thought you were going to speak more generally about Katie. I didn't think...
Have you ever seen a foot file, Tootsie? I mean, come on, girlfriend. Get to work on that. That is not attractive to a man.
I didn't think you were going to get so granular with the dryness of her feet. I was just surprised. I'm voicing it. How many pots?
52.
Pat? I mean, what's your name? I said in Below Deck I drank a big Kachava shake, who I'd love to sponsor the show, but I feel as though the nut butter I added may have been fetid or faulted in some way. I feel like throwing up and shitting my pants at the same time, so I'm not all there tonight. But go ahead, Nick.
A character assassination, the likes we have not seen since La Ventura of the Venezuelan bigot Juan Pablo Galvez.
Yeah.
Thomas, it was his destiny. It was his, what do you call that? Like his manifest destiny.
Yeah.
To become the Bachelor.
The Indians. Oh, sorry.
His only sin is letting the other guys in the house know that.
Right.
They should just understand and let him arrive at that mantle, but instead he had to be tore down. But I think he's going to come back. He's going to have an amazing Bachelor in Paradise. He's going to fuck every woman on that island.
Oh, cool.
And then he's going to be the Bachelor next year. Go Thomas.
Yeah, he's a lot like Achilles in that his hubris was his hubris, you know?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was his heel.
What's your pots?
40.
Great. So, and guys, if you're listening, you may think, oh, these are very flippant ratings, but please do not be confused or misguided in that opinion. These are very, very important.
I thought a lot about mine.
of time on them.
They should see my Goodwill Hunting chalkboard I have at home where I arrived at that number. That was not flippant.
So, like you said, Pat, and you alluded to, Nick, a lot of Thomas talk, and a lot of Thomas talk is not good for America. But aside from that, I thought it was actually pretty shitty. I thought it was a bad episode. 8 pots. So, do we want to talk about PPP loans before we get into the show?
A lot of people got upset when we did that post. I
don't really know what happened, so I don't want to venture into
we have
waters.
A bunch of influencers or quote unquote influencers decided it was a good idea to sign up for an application to receive tens of thousands of dollars to pay their various employees or wherever the fuck they were going to do with that money.
Right.
And it turns out a bunch of Bachelor contestants and some of the more popular ones were taking that money.
And can I actually tease this for
another podcast show?
Another podcast show,
Love
the Patreon only one at patreon.com/another podcast
Great
network.
tease.
Because there's actually some pretty fun details that we can suss out. I don't want to spoil them.
Okay, go to patreon.com/another podcast network.
Great tease.
We'll get into the entire thing there. So, before Thomas went on his jog, he told the guys last week that he thought about being the Bachelor, but now that he's actually on the show, that desire is no longer there, which makes perfect sense.
Because he fell in love.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't think you do.
I get it. Trey is not tricked very easily. And says that Thomas tricked him multiple times, which means that contrary to Trey's opinion of himself, he is rather easy to trick. The chatter about Thomas is zipping around the house and kind of making these guys look like, for lack of a better term,
weak bitches,
fucking pussies. Yeah. It's just wild that. I was thinking of how pathetic they all are, and then I was thinking about the arsenal of weaponry that the producers and Mickey have pointed at them. So I kind of understand why they're gossiping, but if I'm wrong and they don't have Tommy guns aimed at their body and they're just doing this, what a damning statement on where we are as a gender.
I agree. Right? And let me say this because I know, I don't want to talk about Thomas that much, but I guess I'll give my overall thoughts of this fool. He was too inarticulate to actually really lay out an argument on his behalf that would have freed him from this.
Right.
What he could have said was, especially when Katie gave to him, I know I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Ahead of yourself.
Hey, when you were about to be on whatever season she was, Matt's season, did any of your girlfriends say, wouldn't it be crazy if you became the Bachelorette? And then you all laughed and drank wine.
Yeah.
That's the extent of how much I've thought about this.
It's a very easy thing to get out of.
Again, we're all saying the same thing. Thomas couldn't have done anything differently. He played it straight down the road, and these guys fucked him. And like you said, I don't know if it was Tommy guns, because all of these guys were so intimidated by him. They knew their only shot was eliminating him, except Aaron, who's a confident man who looks like the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. Andrew. I get Andrew and Aaron mixed up a lot. You are right.
Aaron is the developmentally challenged antagonist from the film Bloodsport.
I love Andrew because he's the first time I've seen in this franchise, basically a guy, well, all the other guys are grouping up to basically gang up on someone.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys?
No, we're not doing it. Katie's smart enough to suss out this guy, Thomas. Like, let's leave the drama out because we'll feel the shrapnel of it later on. Cut it out.
Right, but getting back to Thomas, the predicament that he is in is the equivalent of a wet paper bag.
Oh, yeah. He's an imbecile.
All you have to do is say what you said. It's a very, very easy thing to get out of. But we'll play a clip later. I'm convinced he is one of the dumbest contestants we've ever seen.
He had an entire day. He had a pad of paper and a pencil. You can't rub together a couple fucking thoughts to figure this out, how to get out of this?
He made up a lot of fun words. So that's... Jesus Christ,
maybe he deserved to go. The guy can't scrape together a fucking coherent thought.
I'm with you guys. Poor Thomas.
Yeah, so moving on. Let me just fire up my cell phone here and get back to my notes.
One thing I noticed was Thomas had only one friend, or so we thought, was number 2 Pencilhead.
Right.
Turns out Pencilhead can't stand the fucking guy.
Yeah.
He had no friends.
Courtney recently learned that women...
Call him number 2 Pencilhead.
Number 2 Pencilhead just recently found out that women need trust. I guess he doesn't know that men require that too in relationships, but who knows? He's going to get there. So...
Number 2 pencil head for Bachelor if Thomas doesn't get it. Hashtag.
Shall we get to the budget date in the desert?
I would love to. Katie shows up. Get to it, Katie.
We've got Pat's drop board is YouTube clips pulled up on Safari.
I'll make a deal with the audience. We need 20 more people to get us to 900 patrons. If we get there, I'll start playing clips off my computer, which will be much better sound quality.
Love that.
Pat, email me if you think of them. Just text me. Seriously.
Okay.
I want a bomb drop. I want a whatever. And I'm going to start downloading these, and I'm going to make your soundboard.
Before we keep going, let's take a quick break to tell you about the sponsor of today's podcast. That is Magic Mind. Guys, you know it very well if you've been listening to the show. If you have not, prepare to get fucking amazed, because this is a magical elixir. It is filled with things that make your body hum. Matcha, lion's mane, things that make your brain kind of turn into a supercomputer, but like a Zen, perfectly oiled supercomputer. And that's the thing about supercomputers. They need to have a lot of oil, and that is what Magic Mind does. And
that magical elixir comes in the form of a once daily shot that you can take in concert with your coffee to get that slow caffeine drip throughout the day to get rid of that low grade anxiety, too much caffeine intake.
Nick, I'm glad you mentioned the whole coffee thing. Get this. As you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I got some people that work for me. I've been getting ready to fire like 3 guys. They're pretty lazy. Right?
Have you really?
I was right on the edge of it. And then I discovered magicmind.co. And what I did is I started taking that elixir and I poured in their coffee before we start the day. Whole new employee showing up. I don't need to fire anybody anymore. I got really productive employees kicking ass for me. Profits are up.
Have they mentioned the taste of the coffee?
They haven't noticed a bit. Which makes me think I could probably put cyanide in there if I want to get really funky.
Well, I'm happy.
Jay, funky?
I don't know.
I'm happy that A, your employees are working better. Mm-hmm. B, we have such an amazing test case for this product that we could share with our listeners. Yeah. But C, I'm a little worried about you and your business. You just said you poisoned your employees. It's not poison.
That's not important. What is important is you got to go to magicmind.co to unlock the magical powers of the human brain. You can only do so with the once daily shot. You can also fuck like a racehorse too, right, Pat?
Well, I didn't want to get into that too much. But,
all right, let's not then. Go to magicmind.co.
Well, no, but I think it's important too. One of the benefits that isn't even on the bottle is, I don't know if you're having a little trouble with the sex life with your spouse in the bedroom.
Right.
When they're not looking, you pour a little bit of this in their nightly wine or something like that. Next thing you know, they'll be fucking giving you a rip off.
Okay, or give it to people and ask them if they want to try it.
You can do this, like consensual consumption is important. And Pat's not talking about some, fakakta Viagra here. This isn't any male enhancement or anything like that. What it does is unlocks the supercomputer that is the human brain. It will free up your creative and confident mind when you are in the bedroom. If you wanted to do a whirling dervish, well, now you can. You'll have the creativity and the zen hum that will allow you to execute that flawless maneuver in the bedroom.
And let's take a quick hypothetical for a second.
Get back to the show. I'm so sorry about all this.
Quick hypothetical for a second.
Yeah.
You're the most focused, driven, on-point individual in the world. Say you're Thomas. Just buy it for us, magicmind.co, promo code Katie, 25% off to support us and the sponsor who is invested in this show. Yeah. I don't care if you drink it. Buy it.
Nick,
please.
This is my lane. Let me sell the shit out of this. Hey, listeners, there's tens and thousands of you out there. At least, a fucking 100 of you can buy this product because look what we're doing here. You're here because you're sick of listening to those milquetoast, lame other podcast recaps that suck and they don't say anything because they're friends with all the Bachelor people. So they wouldn't dare say anything, a real thought, but we do. So you got to support shows like that. And the way you do it is when an advertiser comes in and says, oh, sure, I'll throw $6,000 at you, but you got to make me whole by the end of all this. And I looked that man in the eye and I said, done and done. Now I put it on you. You guys need to go to that magicmind.co and I need you to buy a fucking case. I'm ordering you. Promo code Katie. So do it to support shows like that. All right, I'm done. I'm tired. I got to go to bed.
Jeesh. Let's get back to another Bachelor podcast.
Sheesh, what an ad read.
Thanks, pal.
So misogyny on display again. Katie's date has the budget of peppers and a paper mache ear. The date is going to push the guys to their limit. It is called Katie's Truth or Dare. Everything about this date is phoned in horse shit. Shame on you, Svengalis.
I mean, it was unwatchable to me. I was frustrated with it. I hated it so much. And the part I hate is, sorry to get ahead of myself. Did I?
No. We were floored that you put an R in front of the F.
Can you believe I've been saying the word frustrated for 45 years on this planet?
Yeah. I absolutely can believe that.
A lot of people make that mistake.
All right, what my pet peeve is, and we'll get into this, or maybe we'll just kind of graze over it. I hate that Tayshia and Caitlin Bristow are yucking it up here. There are things that are transpiring before their eyes that are not funny at all or entertaining, yet they are falling all over each other like America's laughing along with them.
Yeah, it's like an episode of The Big Bang Theory.
Did you ever watch an episode of that with the laugh track turned off?
It's one of my favorite things ever put on YouTube.
So Trey is getting a little too fired up for me. He's taking this process very seriously, and his departure when it comes is going to make me throw up because, there's a...
We're going to war with Russia.
Yeah, just a giant 747 flying over our heads right now. When Trey does depart the show, he's going to have lost a love. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like he's going to be destroyed by his departure on the show. She doesn't know your name, man.
Trey is the kid who you invite to your son's birthday party, and he just gets like way too worked up about stuff. Yeah. He was always like, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this?
You're ruining the party, man. You're freaking everybody out.
Hey, Trey, we're going to take you outside, and we're just going to give you a 5-minute timeout.
Yeah.
We'll just settle you down.
No, Trey he is drunk on the Kool-Aid of this show. That is not a black joke. That is not a black joke.
My biggest takeaway from this date was not only has Mike, whatever his last initial is, never had sex in his entire life, but he has not had a carb in 7 years. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I think he was lying.
I don't. The man is disciplined.
Chiseled. Yeah. All right, so let's break down the date. First up, we've got first dare, eat dessert. Second dare, talk like a sexual predator into said big ear.
They could have called this date best day ever.
Katie says that Andrew has this, she goes, he has this incredible British accent. He doesn't, though. It's completely fake.
And very annoying.
He does it too often.
Just like me and a lot of our audience, she must be a huge Skepta fan.
Trey gets his ass waxed, and we wrap it up with more.
How original. Waxing.
We wrap it up with more
if
eating.
you would have been able to turn the cameras to see America viewing this and how displeased and entertained they were.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay.
No.
Hey,
No. Bring back Claire. Yeah. I want Claire to show up, yell at the guys, and then go get finger banged by Dale. That was fun.
What we need
How
is...
the tables have turned. During Claire's season, we had an episode, I think it was episode number 2, Tayshia, where are you? Now we have Tayshia, and we're begging for Claire back.
I said her 4-episode arc was the most subversive arc on any reality show of Elite. It was wonderful. I couldn't stand Claire Makes My Skin Crawly, hence the name I've given her for the last 4 years.
Right.
But she went on there. And boy, was that entertaining.
No, I mean, she really, really was. And the producers listen to the show. We see our ideas, enter into the tapestry of this program constantly. But one thing I would like to pitch is to have Claire take over the Chris Harrison role. She'd be very combative and very competitive with every Bachelorette that ever got cast. And she'd probably sleep with one of the contestants behind Katie or whoever's back. It would be brilliant. Is that misogynistic of me?
Not at all.
No, it was about Claire.
Got it. So, moving on.
One thing that I noticed on that date was this thing. Fuck, one of the dare. Damn it. I'm sorry.
Okay, so.
Well, Katie says something I thought was ridiculous. She says she wants a guy to propose, and the guy she wants is someone who will do anything for love. And that's when she starts, the hot peppers bit. And I'm like, why stop with hot peppers, Katie?
Yeah.
Tell one of the guys to take a shit and have another guy eat it.
Yeah.
I remember
anything for love.
I remembered it. He mentioned it, but I had already remembered it before he said it. The hot pepper challenge was a complete. They reused that. That was in Tayshia's season.
Yeah, they did the waxing bit too. It went over so well on Tayshia's season.
Was it the same date?
It's a budget desert season of this show. They can't, they don't have a lot to do. They got to do a hot pepper challenge.
They're not paying the talent. All these contestants show up for free. We've learned from them. They say, no, this hotel, this fucking dump in New Mexico, they're not paying anything. They did a trade deal on that.
Yeah.
They show the front of the thing in exchange for allowing these contestants to live there.
Yeah.
So far, I've seen them spend minus $14.
There's no air conditioning at this hotel.
And we're still, I think next week might be the week, but that much anticipated Yelp review of this resort.
I'm excited.
It's on its way.
I hope they talk about the wall units. So anyways, let's get to the night date.
Night date!
The guys exchange platitudes about loving this stranger named Katie, and then Andrew pulls her first. He brings her Taco Bell, and they cheers to being foodies. Now, Taco Bell is wonderful at the right time, but the beans have a white powder on them before they're cooked, and the meat is well-seasoned cat food. So foodies you are not, but I'm a big fan of the Bell as well.
I have thoughts on this as well.
Yeah.
Eating a greasy taco from Taco Bell is and noting you're a foodie is like saying Katie is a fashion icon and then pointing down to that horrendous, what could only be described as a petticoat with sequins. Both absurd thoughts. Sequins. Sequins. You know what that means, Dylan. They have the same costume designer as Rue McClanahan.
I have missed this song so much.
Golden Girls series from 86 to 1991.
The audio on the phone is peaking really badly, though, so we should...
Invited everyone you knew. They're all singing along. You would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say.
Can we?
Yeah.
I can't be.
Great song, though.
Yeah, now I got like this earworm because I didn't get to hear the thank you for being a friend.
That's okay. So Asian Colin Hanks sits down next. Pretty sure he's not on this show. She seemed confused as to why he was talking to her. She's like, I thought you were a producer. You're not supposed to get in front of the camera.
And he didn't get a kissy. Let me say this about Andrew M. He's an attorney. I don't know if you knew that. He's a likable guy. I think he's a looker. I think it's time for an Asian bachelor.
Yeah,
I think he's a great guy. He's too good to be here, and he's the guy. He's the guy she should pick, but she won't pick him.
No, of course not. She's gonna pick Blake.
No. Oh my God.
We'll get to him in a second. Everybody calm down. The person she's going to pick is Greg, who sits down next and vomits up vulnerability. He will win, and he'll destroy her. And, you know, we've spoken about Claire a lot. I think worst case scenario is the damage that he does to Katie after this show ends will turn her into possibly a Claire 2.0. I hope not, because I love Katie, but this man may be a fucking snake. Mm-hmm. I mean, a true snake.
Oh, when he's working those guys minutes later, like, oh yeah, that guy Thomas, boy, we should tell Katie, hey Trey, kid and play, get over there, get to work, do my bidding, do my dirty work.
He's the only one with, like, you know, a little bit of wit to him, you know. So
he's playing it like a game, which is the way you got to play it.
Right.
All these other fools, I apparently haven't watched the show and seen how it works. She actually tells him during their conversation she's starting to fall for him. So if I'm Greg, Mr. Smelly Fingers, I'm feeling in pretty good shape right now.
Right. Okay. So next up, the Indian, I think, guy sits down and spills his heart out. She looks at him like an intern that's doing a great job. You got to get off the show.
She's going to give him a great letter of rec, though.
Yeah, no, she's really proud of the work he's been doing. He's been very proactive. They've had interns in the past who just sit in the cubicle and play Crazy Birds, but he's really showing a lot of initiative.
The key to being an intern is anticipate Katie's needs.
Yes.
Mike the Virgin actually talked to Katie before Greg.
Silicon Valley guy that needs Botox.
Yes, and he kept saying, like, emphasizing how he was ready to make sacrifice. I'm pretty sure he was like, Katie, I'll give you the business if I have to. God's not going to be happy, but if I have to, I will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought he was talking about slaughtering goats or something like that. But anyways,
possibly eating Twinkies.
Let's get to Trey. Evidently, a producer held a knife to Trey's neck because he is adamant that he has to protect Katie from making a mistake that could ruin her entire life. Trey, calm down.
Rats never win, Trey.
Andrew's got the right approach here, which is, Trey, calm down.
Yeah.
5-minute breather outside, right?
Yeah, that's it.
No more Mountain Dew.
Svengali strings are showing here. Katie starts off with, I love how today had no drama, and it was just plain fun. Cue Trey, because I care about you. Thomas isn't here for the right reasons. She's absolutely blindsided. She had no idea. Because, you know, it's a lie. This is just completely out of left field. You know, this could never happen. She didn't come onto Matt's season with a brand, you know, that she felt would endear her to the hearts of America.
No, that would be Dale Moss.
She's disgusted. Oh, I think it's a little bit of Katie too. But she's disgusted that Thomas would even consider this. Trey gets back, and Andrew is starting to get a little flared up too, but recovers by calling Trey Buzz Killington. Really love this guy, Andrew. I think he's a good guy. Although going to the James Bond well a few too many times.
Is that what Buzz Killington is from?
No, I think he just like.
I've heard it though. I feel like, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, he's like a Britophile or something. Whatever you call people who love Britain. So Katie comes back.
Was this after she was embraced by a producer and crying after hearing this from Trey? Oh, sorry.
No, this is that's about to come up, but I don't have any note of that.
Well, my note would be is you're crying over Thomas?
Right.
That's an insane, absurd thing.
He smells like Adderall. So Katie comes back, and once again, Lord of the Flies here. The collective hive mind is telling her who to push off the cliff. Disney, Mickey, get a fucking hold of this. Katie is not running this show. Trey gets a rose for his honesty. This rose is a morphine drip, you know? It's something to ease the journey, but
Well, now she's got an inside guy. She's got a rat.
It's true.
That's what that rose represents.
Yeah. I thought it was more like a morphine
Take
drip
this
to
little
me, but
piece of cheddar.
Yeah.
There's more morsels of that when you can give me that information.
Sure. It's like bubbles.
A morsel of cheddar to attract a rat or a morphine drip. At the end of the day, this man is still Trey No Way.
Yeah, Trey No Way.
No, he's Trey Kid and Play.
So
well, you had called him Trey No Way, and I like that one better.
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Okay.
you did. So
Courtney looks more like Kid and Play.
Don't you dare. Courtney's name's number 2 pencil head.
Speaking of
No,
Courtney,
but he's light skinned like the Kid and Play.
next day.
Next day.
I like bologna Courtney. I don't know why I wrote that down.
I love bologna Courtney. Obviously, he was a latchkey kid. It was one of my favorite meals. I
Yeah.
would come home, and I would have some Wonder Bread and a bologna sandwich and a Kraft single and eat 8 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And also the elevated mortadella, if it's done properly with pistachios and fat properly emulsified into the the loaf, it's just a delicious lunch meat. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Courtney. Tasha.
Talking about the same bologna?
No, yeah, pretty much. Oscar Mayer, right? Mm-hmm. Tasha comes over to chat with Katie. She tells Katie that she owes her something. Why? What are you talking about? There's a guy who didn't want to come onto the show because he didn't want to throw himself back into the process. Also, he wasn't invited. But this man cannot stop thinking about Katie. Katie says this could change everything. And she heads out to go and meet none other than the Olmec-jawed Blake.
Can you believe the fucking setup that Tasha does? I mean, did she get an extra bump in her pay to sell the shit out of this this idiot? She says, hey, Katie, I'm not going to lie to you. This could change the game. And then Katie's like, who could it be? Brad Pitt. I know he's divorced from Angelina.
Yeah.
Maybe J.C. Chavez from NSYNC.
Well, he's a gay man. Oh, no.
Who could this mysterious suitor be? Well, Katie, it's Blake. And as Dylan unfolded a complete meathead with anger issues.
Yeah. Do you remember that Canadian guy who's addicted to creatine?
Him.
She's like worst case scenario. What are we talking? Peter Krause,
Right.
But no.
I asked the wife, I said, this Blake character, please, is there anything attracted about him? My wife likes ugly guys.
Right.
I find him very unattractive. She thinks, who's the guy in every movie?
Artie
Jonah
Lang.
Hill.
She likes Jonah Hill and Artie Lang. That's the pigs that my wife likes.
Right.
And I compared this guy to them. She's like, oh, he's gross.
Right.
I believe Katie finds him gross as well. It's a producer thing.
They're trying.
know.
They're trying to sell him, and they styled him up, and he has cut a little weight. He's had a little bit of a glow up, but he's still a buffoon.
Yeah, so he's dated 3 bachelorettes. Claire doesn't really count because she's not really a person. Also, she was very focused on Dale, so it doesn't count. But while that concerns Katie, he puts her at ease by saying that his name is on the line and his chances of being embarrassed are fairly high. He's a malignant narcissist. This entire thing was very about Blake, and giant red flags. This guy's a sociopath.
I was blown away by this because this was kind of presented to us almost like in Titanic romantic style with all his platitudes.
They were all about him and what he's going to lose.
I mean, is that bald spot in the back of that gorilla's head melting his fucking brain?
Right.
If I went to high school with Blake and someone told me I wasn't a fan of the show, they go, did you know he's on the Bachelorette?
Yeah.
And he's like a top contender? I bet Blake?
Do you remember that fat kid that was a C student and got the shit beat out of him all the time? He's on the Bachelorette.
Blake?
Yeah, Blake.
The guy who ate his own boogers?
Right. Yeah, Blake.
Blake.
Yeah, the dude on the football team who was
But he's on The Bachelor, and he's one of those guys that you never learn his name, right? And then he goes home early.
No. Actually, he's quite an integral part of the upcoming season. They brought him back to make it to the final 3, actually.
It is ridiculous that there's such a to-do about him, but it's obviously some trope where, like, if you come in late, you don't really have a chance. There's only so many people that will accept this role. Thus, we have Heather.
Right.
Thus, we have Blake. They're stupid pieces of shit.
Whoa.
I don't know why I said it like that.
One little
but they
detail.
don't have a chance, and they're just grasping straws.
One little detail, they had been DMing each other from his season. That's how this
And she almost burst out.
burgeoning romance started.
She almost burst out laughing when she even brought that up. She's like, he tell me how powerful I was or some bullshit.
Yeah.
Not a chance. But if he does win, that would be quite the twist, and I would actually applaud you, Mickey.
Like, to the guys out there, like, I mean, I've been married for a long time with the same woman, but like,
that's good.
Don't like bad game is going too far with this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Don't call a woman you don't know powerful. You know, you don't know if she's powerful or not, right? It's too far. It's going to creep any really powerful woman out.
Is your name Blake or Simp?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking simp. All right, so
she tells him, let me think about it.
Exactly. Great hosting. The Thomas thing is heating up. Tasha and Bristow are talking to Katie about her sadness, and Thomas is asking Andrew, what is the big fucking deal? That's his main takeaway from this entire thing. He's kind of right.
I'm going to say something that's not going to be very popular with our female listeners, but I must say this about my favorite Bachelorette. She's pumping too much filler in that fucking head. Ironically, she was also wearing a Where's Waldo t-shirt, and I bet we were all thinking, where's your old face, Caitlin?
Okay.
I was thinking that.
You were.
So, Svengali, what? Nope, wrong page of notes.
Night date!
Before Cockies, Thomas heads over to see Katie, because if he does not speak with her, it shows subconsciously that he's accepting the narrative that the guys are spinning. Now, I just want to let the listeners know I have been stumbling over my words quite a bit tonight, but subconsciously is a word that he made up.
Dylan, it's important for the audience.
Yeah, no, I know.
When he tracks her down, she opens the door.
Yeah.
What is she wearing?
She looked like Rude McClanahan.
Exactly.
That old lady you used to beat off to when you were 14.
I was a young man.
So,
I need to hear the end.
let's take a listen to more dumb from Thomas. So his Adderall sweat and drivel were kind of putting me into an angry daze, but I did jot a few things down. He's making a decent point, that being most of the men thought about being the Bachelor. It's a thing that happens when you go on this show. You have an opportunity to be the Bachelor. He's just so goddamn dumb that he can't present the defense well. He says, I would sign something right now that says anything you need. The only thing that gets me through being here is an opportunity to be with you. And that is verbatim. It took me a while. I had to rewind and get that quote down. But that he said those words.
Let me tell this guy, if I was Katie and I was a fan of rock music, I would have said, that promise of that contract isn't worth the contract in the words that it's not written on.
Right.
Remember the band Kiss in 1999? They all put blood into a well and wrote a contract saying this was their final tour.
Right.
In 1999, the band Kiss.
Yeah.
I just saw today they have an advertising for a summer tour.
Yeah.
They mean nothing.
Right.
It's just like that. It's just like that.
Is this how you guys feel when I make a Friends reference?
Yes. Yep.
It's crazy how we're all on the same page about this. I mean, this Thomas going to talk to her was Mr. Smith going to Washington. It was Mr. Jacobs going to Katie Thurston.
Ernest going to Spain.
Only his impassioned speech fell on deaf, idiotic ears.
Right.
And only to be railroaded. I don't know what that movie Mr. Smith is about, but it's like if it ended badly because he went home.
Katie says it's hard because he's perfect. Katie, he said...
Finally, we're on the same page, Katie.
He said demonstertized.
You know what I love about this? He's perfect, yet she will destroy his character in about 24 minutes.
Yeah, so let's get there. Thomas heads back to the guys and says, I don't want to take any time from you, so that's why I've been talking to her for the past 3 hours.
I loved It's midnight, bro.
The guys then begin to bicker. The developmentally slow dude, bad guy from Bloodsport, yells, "Don't yell at me." And that's when Katie walks in. Svengalis again. Katie immediately apologizes to Thomas for how the guys have made him feel. I mean, that is just the most obvious play in the playbook, right? The producers say, hey, first thing you do, you go out there and you make Thomas feel like you're empathizing with him. Mm-hmm. Let's rile the blood up of all these knuckle draggers that we cast on the show.
I want to say there's subtle things that I pick up on one of the leads on any given show. Katie is a very polite person. I will joke about her for the next 6 episodes or whatever and bust some balls. I have to say she apologizes for being late, and she kind of communicates to the guys when, to let them know what's kind of transpiring. Right. I appreciate that about her. She's very polite. That speaks volumes for me.
Well, so we get a carousel of cowards.
Well, Brendan is the first one I want to point out.
Yeah.
He's the one with the weird hair. He grabs her first, and he, like a little fucking lapdog, says, would you like me to backstab that guy? And she's like, no, let's just get to know one another.
Yeah, what do you like to do?
Thomas, he wants to be the next Bachelor.
So, they all go and they rat on Thomas, and I'm just sitting here thinking, you know what, guys? Give Greg or the dude with the dead wife the ring right now, because the rest of you can just clear out. I mean, you're just shooting yourselves in the foot here.
She acted like she was exasperated by all the men continuing to talk about Thomas, but she caused this by that bait and switch of like how Thomas feeling ostracized.
Right.
Those guys went into panic mode, be like, they're buying his bullshit. We all have to tell her.
Right.
She did that.
Reap
what you sow, Katie Thurston.
You know who doesn't buy into that? That's Michael, the widower. Mm-hmm. He executes a pretty bold strategy. Don't be a gossipy bitch. He sticks the landing. She absolutely adores this guy. Absolutely adores him. Now, unlike Greg, he is genuinely nice and open to the process. Greg is a reptile. He is either going to win the competition or be the next Bachelorette. This is how the game is played. Michael, you are being too soft, but at least you are not a gossipy bitch. So Thomas steps up and apologizes. Oh, let's get to the roll call. But before we do, Thomas preempts Katie's decision and says, "I want to apologize for diminishing the value of the men in this house."
Mm-hmm. He didn't just apologize.
Yeah.
He acknowledged and he apologized. I want to acknowledge and apologize. I want to acknowledge and apologize. He's so perfect.
All right, Thomas. Yeah, why don't you get back in line, buddy?
Hey, one thing that we kind of just went over, but we didn't get into the meat and bones of it, was the conversation that Katie had with Tayshia and Caitlin, kind of about her issue with Thomas.
Right.
Baby birdie?
A baby birdie today posted something that I thought was interesting that I hadn't thought of. And the baby birdie was talking about how Chris Harrison would have taken a different lane than Caitlin and Tayshia. They both basically just said, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. Get rid of him. Right. And Harrison probably would have come in with a softer touch and said, well, could it be that he would have pointed out maybe there's a misunderstanding here. Instead, Katie just takes the advice of these two knuckleheads and then just goes in full scorched earth.
That was a post in our Facebook group, Another Bachelor Podcast, but it spurred a lot of discussion because other baby birds came in and said, no, I disagree. Chris Harrison would have taken even the same slant because, and I went back and forth, but I think I land on he would have been just like Tayshia and Caitlin because Chris Harrison loves this process, and he does not like men there for the wrong reasons. I think he would not have been a fan of Thomas.
I'm 100% with Nick. Nobody buys into the bullshit the way that Chris Harrison does.
Mm-hmm. And he's some kind of color, so obviously Chris Harrison doesn't like him.
Yeah, exactly. He would have also said, I don't really trust Latin Americans, so this guy's obviously a pretty deceitful human being. I think you should get rid of him. The second you can, guys, it is time for the rose ceremony, and that means a roll call.
Oh, you want a roll call?
Yeah.
Hit the music. Here's the roll call. Here are all the people that are going to be staying. Here we go. Hunter, Donkey Kong head. Greg, 90s heartthrob, also smells his fingers. Justin, I got nothing for the guys. Boring. Brendan, really douchey hair. Hey, are you Elvis or a barback at Vanderpump? Either way, your hair sucks. Andrew, my guy, I love how he's strong, and he looks at Katie like, hey, she can figure this stuff out. Don't be a bunch of little rats. Aaron, typical real estate guy. He's basic. Mike P, Silicon Valley guy who is in desperate need of Botox. I know a guy. Call me. James, plain as fuck. Josh, got nothing to say. Number 2, pencilhead. Andrew, the Asian guy. I think he should be the next Bachelor. And we think Thomas.
But no.
Thomas?
Can I just say before we get to Thomas, I mean, he's hitting his stride right now.
Oof. I thought it's still a B-.
No. I think it's a solid B.
I got to get to know these guys a little better.
It's week 4,
because I want to show that reviewer that said I don't know anybody or what I'm talking about. I want to prove her wrong.
I actually think.
Hey, Pat, you won't.
I actually think her not knowing who you're referring to with your nicknames shows she doesn't know about this franchise. How do you not tell the guy has a number 2 pencil head?
Right, and Trey No Way or Trey Came to Play. I mean, his
name... Trey Kid and Play.
Trey Kid and Play. I mean, his name's in the name. It's Trey.
It's Trey Kid and Play from the great 1990s movies that Patrick described as Party House.
Right.
House Party.
So, the last name is Thomas. Katie takes a step back.
I thought this was unusually cool, by the way.
And I thought it was perfect. Tells Thomas that his Bachelor audition is over. Nick, how you feeling, bud? This probably broke you up.
It was cruel, but I have to admit that was a fire line.
Oh, you don't think she planned that out for an hour?
Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. Great writing if she did. Great improv if she didn't.
Yeah, the muse hits you pretty instantaneously. I think that it was kind of came to her pretty quickly.
I was pretty disgusted by this display though, and I just hope that Thomas Jacobs is the first lead in Chris Harrison's new spin-off dating show. I guess it's not a spin-off. It's a rival dating show.
Yeah, we can talk about that on another podcast behind a paywall. So we end with Blake and Katie having this nauseating, manufactured meet cute moment. This guy absolutely sucks. I am not looking forward to seeing him.
His head.
And him and her together on this show. What I am looking forward to is next week we'll see a Hunter guy get little guy aggression and take it out on some other dude, which I'm just really excited for. But until then, Patreon.com/another podcast network. Go to magicmind.co. Enter promo code Katie for 25% off, 5 stars, and kind words in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Stop bullying Sheesh Podcast. You guys have done enough. We love you. We'll see you next week. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
5 stars and positive words, but maybe mention another Bachelor podcast for Sheesh, another Bachelor podcast.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Pat.
Goodbye.